join us today. It puts me in a good mood, just like music does. In fact, I have a pump up playlist that I like to break out when I need a boost of confidence.
Confidence is learning to see yourself the way God sees you.
We've had a fun beginning of summer so far, learning exactly how God sees us.
And He loves us. He has a good plan for our lives. He can use us to do big things and make a difference in the world around us. We've got another incredible story of confidence that I'll tell you a bit later.
But first, we need to do our theme song for the last time. So get up and get ready to get in the mix.
Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Press play! Jesus, we know we belong here because of your love for us that goes on and on forever. Jesus, we know you are with us wherever we go. You're there, we'll always be together. So sing along with me for all the joy he brings. It's going down. Get in the mix. We're not stopping. Get in the mix. The party's hopping. Get in the mix. Everybody say it's time to press play. Get in the mix. The beat is dropping. Get in the mix. Feet are stomping. Get in the mix. Everybody say it's time to press play. Press play. Press play. Jesus, we know we belong here because of your love for us that goes on and on forever. Jesus, we know you are with us wherever we go. You're there, we'll always be together. So sing along with me for all the joy he brings. It's going down. Get in the mix. We're not stopping. Get in the mix. The party's hopping. Get in the mix. Everybody say it's time to press play. Get in the mix. The beat is dropping. Get in the mix. Feet are stomping. Get in the mix. Everybody say it's time to press play. Press play. Press play. Press play. Press play. All right, all right, all right. We're gonna break it down one time, y'all. You gotta sing it out with all you got. Y'all ready? Come on, come on. Clap your hands like this. Have confidence to get in the mix. Clap your hands like this. Have confidence to get in the mix. Now clap your hands like this. Like this. Have confidence to get in the mix. Now clap your hands like this. Like this. Everybody get in the mix. Get in the mix. We're not stopping. Get in the mix. The party's hopping. Get in the mix. Everybody say it's time to press play. Get in the mix. The beat is dropping. Get in the mix. Feet are stomping. Get in the mix. Everybody say it's time to press play. Press play. Press play. Press play. Press play.
Back in Bible times, Israel was ruled by many kings who didn't always listen to God. But King Ahab was the worst.
Is he related to Captain Ahab from Moby Dick?
Probably not. But God sent a prophet named Elijah to deliver a message to Ahab. This is what Elijah said. God is the Lord of Israel, and because you built a temple to another god, there will be no dew and no rain in the land for the next few years. It won't come until I say so.
So no water?
Nope.
What about the farmers and their plants? How is anyone going to get any food to eat?
That's exactly what King Ahab thought. and this made him angry. What made him even more angry was that what Elijah said came true.
Uh-oh. I don't really like rain, but for years not having rain, that sounds awful.
God knew Elijah would need some protection, so he told him to leave and hide east of the Jordan River.
Well, if there's no water for years, did the rivers and streams dry up?
They did. And King Ahab got desperate. In fact, his wife Jezebel even rounded up the rest of the prophets and had them thrown in jail to try and coax Elijah out of hiding. But Elijah had all the food and water he needed because God provided for him.
How long is Elijah going to let this go on for?
3 years. And after 3 years, God told Elijah to go talk to Ahab. God promised that after Elijah talked to Ahab, there would be rain.
So let me get this straight. He's going to go back to a land with no food and water, and where prophets are being rounded up and thrown in jail. And he's choosing to leave his safety and food and water to go and talk to a guy who hates him?
Yep, I think you got it. So Elijah left and eventually met up with Ahab on the road.
I'm not sure whether Ahab would find this exciting or infuriating.
Oh, he was not pleased to see Elijah. When he saw Elijah, he said, "Is that you? The one who's always stirring up trouble for Israel?"
Off to a great start.
Elijah explained that it was Ahab and the kings before him who were the troublemakers. They built temples to other gods, and that wasn't loving to God. Elijah had a plan to show him how God deserved being loved.
We're not gonna have another battle, are we? There's a lot of fighting in our stories lately.
Not really. Elijah told Ahab to gather 450 priests from the temple he built and told them to meet him on top of a mountain. Once they were up there, they were to build an altar out of rocks, to put a sacrifice over top, but not to light it on fire.
I am liking how much barbecue is coming up in our stories, though.
Elijah told the 450 priests to dance, sing, and to call out to their God. If he was real, their sacrifice would light itself on fire.
I don't see that working out well for them.
Well, they sang and they danced and they sang and they danced.
And?
Nothing. So Elijah said, "Well, maybe he went to the bathroom or something and he can't hear you, so keep trying."
Why is he encouraging them?
Because he knows it won't work for them. And it didn't. Now, it was Elijah's turn.
Okay, here we go.
Elijah built his own altar, a very humble one with his own sacrifice. And then he called for people to pour water all over the rocks and all over the wood and all over the sacrifice.
This isn't going the way that I thought it would.
Elijah called out to God, and immediately a pillar of fire came down from the sky and burned up the wood, the sacrifice, and even the rocks and all the water. Gone.
Wow, what did Ahab and the priests do?
Ahab saw what had happened, and he had all his priests rounded up and thrown in jail. Then Elijah said, "Go, eat and drink. I think I hear rain."
And did it?
It did. It started out as a small white cloud in the distance, but as it got closer to Israel, the cloud got bigger and darker. Elijah and Ahab rode as fast as they could in the king's chariot to celebrate the impossible things that God could do.
So what you're telling me is the God we worship is the same God Elijah used to call down fire and rain.
He is. God is always in control of all things, even though we may not see it.
So when things seem impossible, we need to remember that God can do the impossible.
We can have confidence when we remember just how strong and powerful God really is.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of 1 Kings, chapter 18.
Israel was ruled by many kings who didn't listen to God, but King Ahab was the very worst. He even built a temple to a false god.
Everybody worship Baal. He is very great because, I don't know, he can make it rain and stuff. Woot!
But the Lord sent a prophet named Elijah to deliver a message to King Ahab.
As the Lord lives, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years, except at my word.
You pipsqueak. Baal can make it rain. Also, off with your head.
Elijah quickly departed the palace, and at the Lord's direction, he escaped and hid east of the Jordan River. For 3 years, there was no rain in Israel.
Impossible. I won't allow it. Baal, make it rain this instant.
Crops failed, rivers and brooks dried up. King Ahab was desperate. In fact, his wife Jezebel even hunted down most of the prophets of God that were left in Israel.
Off with their heads.
But through it all, God provided food and water for Elijah. In the 3rd year of the drought, God spoke to Elijah again.
Go, speak to Ahab. Then I will send rain on the land.
You do realize he wants to kill me? Okay, here goes.
As Elijah traveled to the palace, he met King Ahab on the road.
Is that you troubler of Israel?
I haven't made trouble for Israel. You have.
Yeah, well, I'm rubber your glue. Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you.
You've abandoned the Lord and followed Baal.
What else? He's more popular.
You want a showdown? Fine. Gather all the people and meet me on Mount Carmel. Oh, and bring all the prophets of Baal.
Oh, you're on.
King Ahab sent a message throughout the land, and the Israelites gathered on Mount Carmel, along with 450 of the prophets of Baal.
How long will you go back and forth between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal's God, follow him. I'm the only prophet of the Lord left, but Baal has 450 prophets. Hey, get 2 bulls for us. Let Baal's prophets prepare one of the bulls and place it on an altar to Baal, but not light it. I'll put the other bull on an altar to the Lord. The God who answers by fire, well, he is God.
What you say is good.
The prophets of Baal prepared a bull as a sacrifice and placed it on the altar to Baal.
Baal, this is for you. Light this bull on fire. Hey, Baal, answer us.
From morning until noon, the prophets of Baal danced around the altar, calling on their false god.
Hey, shout louder. Maybe he's asleep or on a trip.
The prophets of Baal danced harder and shouted louder all through the afternoon, but there was still no answer. At last, Elijah stood up.
Enough! Come here to me.
Elijah took 12 large stones and rebuilt an altar to the Lord. Then he took the bull and sticks of wood and placed them on the stones and dug a deep trench around the entire altar. He turned to several of the Israelites and said,
Fill 4 large jars with water and pour it on the offering and the wood.
You do know wet wood doesn't burn, right?
Just do it. Now do it again. Do it a 3rd time.
The wood became so wet, water even flowed down the altar and filled the trench.
Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, let everyone know that you are the one true God. Answer me, Lord, so these people will know that you are God and that you are turning their hearts back again.
There was a long moment of silence. Everyone waited, breathless. And then, fire fell from heaven onto the altar and instantly burned up the wet wood and the sacrifice, even licking up the water in the trench. The people fell on their faces. Terrified, the prophets of Baal tried to escape, but were captured and wiped out. Elijah turned to King Ahab.
Go, eat and drink, for there is the sound of a heavy rain.
Though the sky was completely clear, in a short time a tiny cloud appeared. More clouds joined the first. They turned dark and black. The wind rose, and fat drops of rain splattered onto the dry earth for the first time in 3 years. Filled with God's strength and joy, Elijah raced ahead of King Ahab's chariot to the city. God had done the impossible.
Everybody, everywhere, all around the world. Listen up right now because I got something to say and it will be heard. I made up my mind, not afraid to show. That's right, gonna leave the past behind. Gonna let the whole world know I am who God says I am. Let me tell you now. I am who God says I am. I am forgiven. I am a winner. I have been chosen. Jesus, I am yours. Jesus, I am yours. Forever. Jesus, I am yours. Forever. I am. Jesus, I am yours. I belong to the one who saved me. I belong to the one who gave his life. So I will take my place. I will stand and say, Jesus, I am yours. I am who God says I am. I am who God says I am. Let's go. I am who God says I am. 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 I am forgiven. I am a winner. I have been chosen. Jesus, I am yours. Jesus, I am yours. I belong to the one who saved me. I belong to the one who gave his life. So I will take my place. I will stand and say, Jesus, I am yours. I belong to the one who saved me. I belong to the one who gave his life. So I will take my place. I will stand and say, Jesus, I am who God says I am. 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 You know I am who God says I am. I am who God says I am.
There might be some situations in your life that seem impossible. Maybe you think you'll never understand fractions, or that life will never feel normal after the pandemic.
But when things seem impossible, you have to trust God and believe that He is with you. He is always in control.
God can do the impossible.
That's what Elijah believed, and he was sure of God's power. He was confident that God would come through that day on the mountain, even though it seemed impossible.
We can live with that same kind of confidence too. We can choose to trust God and put our faith in Him.
There are so many impossible things God has done and will do in the future.
That's it for another theme. Be sure to continue checking in throughout the summer as we do our VBS Treasured. We will see you all then. Bye.
Bye.